What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. This video is brought to you by my Twitch channel. The supporters over there have made this possible at Potion Shop TV. Go over there and give me a follow if you want to get more content, and if you want to support me, that's where to go. Thank you so much for everyone out there. All right, let's jump onto it. So today's video is about Heidel Ball. Heidel Ball comes around every year, around middle of the year. It's usually around like May, June, July timeframe, and it gives us kind of like a preview, ideally into the next roughly 6 months to 9 months of BDO's future. That's the ideal. Obviously, it's their current roadmap, and things are subject to change. And BDO developers are very, very, very readily they overpromise and underdeliver almost always, and it's a really bad side effect of just the game being made in Korea, and that's just a cultural thing over there, is that they tend to overpromise and underdeliver. And it's just something we have to anticipate. So, what are my expectations for Heidel Ball? I think first, if we're going to have expectations for Heidel Ball, it's best to look at what we've gotten in the past. So, Heidel Ball last year, you have to understand, happened during coronavirus. And so, because of coronavirus, there was a lot of lockdown. They had to reorganize their company. They had to get a lot of things set up properly again to work from home. And that was a whole terrible year. And BDO definitely, I think, suffered a little bit in, as far as its roadmap and its plan for getting things done. I think it definitely was delayed a little bit more than they intended. So what exactly did they promise last year at Heidel Ball? Well, here we go. Thank you to Nezzy 12 months ago, almost exactly. This is about, as of this video, the Heidel Ball 2021 will be roughly in, I think it's June 19th, so it's about 3 weeks away. And so, roughly a year ago, they had Heidel Ball, and they promised Odalita in the second half of 2020. They delivered on that. They also promised Hashashin. They also promised horse racing. They promised aggressive for having a toggle. Back in the day, it was just on automatically. You couldn't turn it off. So they added that to the game. They did accomplish that. They removed weapon reroll coupons from the Pearl Shop. I actually think this was a bad change. I actually hope they add back the weapon exchange coupons to the Pearl Shop, because I don't think those are very predatory. Especially now that we have the tagging system, this is a really good option for people to reroll whenever they want to reroll to another class. I actually kind of like these, so I hope they kind of add those back. They said they're going to work on a bounty system, and that was in early development. And you might have heard of the sheriff system, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And they're going to be reworking zodiac signs and boosting luck for certain days with a variety of different systems, which we have not seen anything on that. So this has probably been canceled as far as we know. And then they're going to have a special channel for high-level mobs, and we know that today to be Hadum, that is currently in BDO. You can see here that we have 250, 250, 280, 280, 270. All the grind spots in Serenity have been reworked. As of making this video of Heidel Ball, before Heidel Ball 2021, we have not heard anything about Hadum Caltheon or Hadum Medea or any of the other regions yet. But we do expect that to be coming in the future. So we haven't heard anything about that right now. And they said Land of Demons, which is next to Valencia, no date. We originally thought the Land of Demons was this area above Valencia, is what we thought it was. We thought it was this area. But it is actually a possibility that the Land of Demons is actually this area down here. And when they actually announced this back in 2020, they actually said it was going to have the red-eyed demons. And since then, we kind of learned that this is like history of mobs. So it makes a lot more sense that this is going to be centered around the dungeon that we now know about a little bit more. And this was extremely early announcement here. It's been a year. We still don't have it. And then, so the snow region also is going to be winter 2021. And winter 2021 is basically, that means quarter 4 2021, which we already know is going to be around the end of November to early March, somewhere in that time frame for the snow region. So, yeah, and then they gave us some rewards, obviously, 100 fail stack. They gave us some Cron Stones, 1,000 Cron Stones. They reset the 530 scrolls as well. And they gave everybody a random chance to get a tier 6 to tier 9, tier 6 to tier 8 horse. And so this is what that kind of looked like, right? Hashashin. We also got Odalita. Everybody's aware of that. We got horse racing. This came a little bit later. This is actually, I think, fairly recently we got the horse racing complete. Horse racing has like 4 different tracks. I think it's complete trash, but hey, they did what they said they're going to do, and we can give them some credit for that. So that's basically what you have going on here. The Land of Demons, I assume this is going to be the dungeon. That is my assumption, because we've heard nothing since about the Land of Demons, and they said at the Caltheon Ball, which was our more recent update to the game, our more recent roadmap update, which happened in, I believe, December. They didn't mention anything about the Land of Demons, so I kind of think that this is probably the dungeon, and that we should not expect like a new Odalita-sized update. I think that's not what this is entailing here. So yeah, that's what we got from Heidel Ball last year. So this will help us kind of judge our expectations for 2021 Heidel Ball. And if we look here, this is the Caltheon Ball. The rewards for that one were a little bit more than 1,000 Cronstones. So we got some Caphras, we got some EXP scrolls again, we got Jay's scrolls. We also got 2 Jay's hammers, I believe. I don't think that's listed here on this one. We got 2 weeks of hot time at 300% combat EXP. Got some fell stacks. We did not get 100 fell stack this time, and we did the last time. So yeah, you can see they got a lot of different rewards here. The big things being the combat EXP, and the Cronstones, and the Caphras this time around. And then what they promised basically in December, right? What they promised, and if you look here, this was 5 months ago, almost 6 months ago. So what they promised at the Caltheon Balls, they said, hey, we got a new class Nova coming to you. They have delivered on that. This is going to be the weapon. It's going to be, its main hand's going to be similar to a Guardian. So it was a very slow playstyle. Shield and a mace, right, for the main hand. Pre-creation is going to start. They did all this. New winter season starts. They also did that. Seasons have been since canceled, so we actually kind of are in the unknown right now. What's going to be happening with seasons? Tier 10 horse confirmed to run on water. This is the Unicorn. We still have not seen any new information about this, and it's been 5, almost 6 months. So we haven't seen any information on this new Tier 10 horse. They had a sneak peek at a new class, and at the time they said it was going to be the next class, but we have Sage now, and it doesn't look like the preview at all, and we'll go through that, and I'll show you what we're talking about in that. They also said they're going to be reworking Invasion and Server Wars. Basically, they're going to be reworking Node Wars, right, and they're going to have Server Wars. And those things are still underneath development, and we don't have any timeline for those to be released, other than probably sometime in 2021. The new dungeon, this was when we first heard about the dungeon, and like you can see here, we didn't mention anything about the Land of Demons. The snow region is going to have 2 grind spots, and they showed 2. They're sort of a screenshot. I'll show you what we're talking about. Sort of a screenshot there, and then they said in a far, far way, 2 years from now, we're going to have the Land of Dawn, which is the area over by Port Rat. And I kind of doubt they're going to do this. I expect they're going to change their plan and do something different. But we'll have to see. Maybe they'll surprise us. I kind of find it a little strange that they're going to start releasing Port Rat stuff. And they said they don't really plan on releasing any grind spots at the time. So more of going to be like a storyline update. So very, very strange. I think they might cancel that. And then these are like the small dev notes here, right? These are the small things they said they're going to be working on. You can say, hey, we're going to be nerfing... we're not going to be nerfing OP classes. We're going to be buffing weak classes. And this week, we actually got a huge PvP and PvE update. So they have come true on their promise. It did take them about 5 months to get everything wrapped up. But hey, they did that. They also said they're going to be doing another Awakening skill and Core skills. They have done both of those. Focusing on PvP content and reworking. They're still working on the reworking PvP content. So we have not seen any of that. We've seen a lot of it on Global Lab, which is the test server. But we've not seen that live yet. Reworking elevation and targeting and improving frame times. We have seen some FPS improvements, but for the most part, old areas are still bad FPS, and new areas seem to be like okay. There's still several, like almost every single visual ability that they reworked back maybe 6 months ago has been not optimized. Sorceress Violation is a good example. You lose like half your FPS when you use it, especially in remastered mode. It's just not been optimized at all. So we still haven't really seen this come through. There's not really been a whole lot of optimizations or targeting improvements. Like you probably find like a few, 1 or 2, but overall they have not really done anything with it. And if you look here, independent storyline and renewal of old regions, I assume this kind of means they're going to be working more on the Hadum regions, and they're going to be also working on the storyline. We know there's going to be a storyline coming with, and like a cutscene coming with the new dungeon. So maybe that's what they're intending here. Not really clear. More exclusive content with the winter season. You know, and like I said, the seasons has been ended since then. Shadow Drift and Ultra Blood and buffing Papu Island. They did buff Papu Island, but these things honestly just need to get removed from the game. They're really fun as like maybe a event in the game, but they're not really good as like permanent edition content. They said they're going to be reworking trading. We haven't seen any information on reworking trading so far. So they did say second half of 2021, but we haven't seen anything about that so far. So I do expect to see something about that. And new ship upgrades for the Karek, more CPP content, and we did get the naval system, and we got some like changes to that, and I don't think that works very well, so that turned out to be pretty trash. And we did get more instruments for Shy, and so a lot of things I'd say maybe like 25%. Yeah, maybe 25 to 50% of the things that they said here have come out, or they have greatly worked on, like the PvP stuff. So let's go through what these look like, right? We got Nova. We also got Sage. Sage wasn't announced there, but they did say this was going to be the next class after Nova. This is going to be the next class after Nova, and this does not look like anything like Sage, right? So a lot of players were expecting this to be a Papu or a Dwarf class or something like that, and the reason being is in the Caltheon Ball itself, they announced that, hey, eventually, you know, if BDO lasts long enough, we're going to come out with a Papu and a Dwarf class and maybe a Rudum class or maybe a Fadis or a Red Wolf class. But, you know, it's just if time lasts long enough. And so a lot of people assumed that this image was going to be a Papu class. But we haven't seen anything of it. So the next class ended up not being based around this image, but ended up being Sage, which is really cool because that matches the dungeon theme really, really well. But the downside is we still don't know anything about this class. A lot of people in BDO currently, a lot of veterans in BDO are burnt out from leveling up new classes because every season, and a season was 3 months, every 3 months we're getting a new class, right? So we got Hashin, 3 months later we got Nova, 3 months later we got Sage, and so then every 3 months you're leveling up a brand new class. And I genuinely think that people think, you know, would enjoy a new class roughly every 6 months. Every 6 months would be a pretty good time frame, but every 3 months you just get bored of doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And usually people start talking about a new class around 3 months after the last class came out, but it does not mean a new class should come out because we've played that now. We've seen what it looks like and what it feels like to have a class come out every 3 months, and it just does not feel enjoyable. But this does bring up a question: is they remove seasons, and they're going to be adding seasons back probably in the future. The question is, if they're not going to be releasing a new class with every season, what is seasons going to look like? So one of my expectations from Heidel Ball 2021 is hearing something about seasons. I expect to hear something about a new class within the next 3 months after the Heidel Ball. I expect to hear about the dungeon. Adraxia is coming out before the Heidel Ball. So I expect to hear more about the future of dungeons in BDO. I expect to hear a lot more about PvP in BDO. These are all kind of expectations for me so far. And I definitely think the class thing, if you look here at the classes, this week, we have Warrior, Sorceress, Ranger, Berserker, Tamer, Valkyrie, Musa, Meiwa, Witch, Wizard, Ninja, Kuno, Dark Knight, Striker, Mystic, Lan, Archer, Shy, and Guardian Hashi, Nova, Sage. All of them got changes to their PvE and their PvP. I mean, I'm telling you, we got absolutely crazy amount of changes this week. It's just an absolutely insane amount of changes here. And I think that they're going to probably jump onto this and talk a lot more about their changes that they're planning for PvP and how they're going to go about implementing those into the game. So we'll have to see. Looking forward to the dungeon right now as well. This is basically the Caltheon Ball that I did last year. And you can see here, these are like the snow images in the background. And they basically talk about like, hey, we're going to be doing 2 snow different regions. So I basically asked them to kind of elaborate on this a little bit more and maybe give us a little bit. Because if you look at this, these models all have the exact same animation. So they have, they're just models. They're not actually, there's no animation to them. So basically, they're all, if you look at them, they're not. It's not like they're doing an animation. Not like they're posing. It's not like they're like scratching their back or anything. So these are just models that are not complete. So they have a basic model and they have a basic ground for it, but they have no animations. They have no anything. So this is extremely early in development. And we can actually look at this even more for the Caltheon Ball. And this is a picture of the snow region here. And this is literally all that they have done. These trees, they have some built-up snow here, which looks kind of cool. Hopefully they have like a new snow mechanic maybe. But this is basically the only image they have of the entire snow region. And if you look here, this background is like super low detailed. All the monsters have the exact same appearance to them. And if you look at this next one, this is the other grind spot. This background is actually a painted background. This is like an artist drew this background. And these models are actually like 3D models. So these are like 3D models. But all this stuff in the background, all the stuff here is all 2D. It's not 3D. And if you look really close, you can tell that. It's all this 2D assets they put in here in order to create a screenshot for the Caltheon Ball. So this was super early in development when they started talking about this. So I actually expect to see maybe like a preview of one of these two grind spots. Another thing that they're working on is they said for Caltheon Ball is they said the Land of Dawn. And again, like this is extremely early on. You can see here they have like one basic building here, and this is the only image they showed of the entire thing. And the big announcement that I expect to hear a lot more about is actually a dungeon. So we can see here, this is where they've obviously been putting a lot of their effort into is this dungeon. And they're actually planning on doing four dungeons, I believe. There's going to be the Valencian dungeon. There's going to be the water dungeon. There's going to be the forest dungeon. And then there's going to be another dungeon. I think the canyon dungeon is what they said. So this is actually a really, really big thing. But yeah, and so I expect to hear a little bit more about this since this will be fresh on people's minds. And I think we're going to be very, very excited to see what's going on here. The real question is, where does this dungeon going to be in BDO? And like I said before, I think it's going to be right in this area. And then that will connect this to the snow region, which is down here. This will be the snow region. It'll be two grind spots in the snow region later on when that eventually comes out. As far as the dungeons go, I think one of the dungeons, they've shown some screenshots of some monsters from the forest dungeon. And it looks like it's themed around Gyfin Rassia and themed around Odalita. So that's probably going to be over here in this little section here, Odalita Part 2. The Canyon Dungeon will probably be part of Medea, probably be the southern part of Medea here. And the other dungeon I'm imagining is going to either be out here in the ocean somewhere, and it'll be like a water expansion, or it will be over here near Sakraya. The images they've shown us so far of the ocean dungeon look like they are from Sakraya a little bit. That's Sakraya themed. Yeah, this dungeon is going to definitely be a really big part. You can see there's a lot of mechanics here, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this all works out. That's basically my expectations for Heidel Ball. I think hearing more about dungeons, I think hearing maybe a new class, hearing more about the Winter Zone. I hope they don't talk about new stuff. My expectation is they probably will talk about things that are currently in way early development that they probably shouldn't be talking about. But my hope is that they see here, this is where it is. They have a desert, ocean, canyon, and forest. Those are the 4 different dungeons they're working on. And I think the theme of this is basically that they're each of these dungeons are locking off the other part of the snow region. I think that's the theme here. So you have like a dungeon here that's blocking off the snow region, the canyon dungeon, which is blocking off the snow region, and you also have the Valencian dungeon blocking off the snow region. And I think that's going to be like the really, really strong theme here, is that each dungeon will unlock a new part of the snow region. And I think it's going to be like their core theme to that. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but we'll see. Time will tell. Very, very excited about it, though. Like I said, my hope is that they talk about things that they're currently having development that we already know about, and they give us a little bit more details on that. And I hope we don't get too many things that are like, hey, this is coming in like 5 years from now. Get excited about this thing that's coming in 5 years from now. I really don't want to see anything more like that. I'll try to put some of these links down in the description. So if you guys want to check out some of this stuff for yourself, you can go down there and read up on what happened last year for Heidel Ball and what happened for the Caltheon Ball. I also have this video in for the new upcoming dungeon, Adraxia, and so you can check all that out. Thank you so much for all my supporters on Twitch. I will see you guys in the next video.